guys. I have a light language attunement for you guys today, but before I get into that, I just wanted to talk about this question that keeps coming up from so many of you guys. I've been getting it from my Facebook group, I've been getting it from some friends that I have, I've been getting it from YouTube, and it's this thing where people are so frustrated because their guides are not coming to them, their guides are not talking to them, they can't hear their guides. They're wondering where their guides are when they're calling for them, or when they're afraid and they're calling for their guides. They're like, where are my guides? And I understand that frustration because, first of all, I want to say that your guides are always there. And I know that's frustrating to hear because you don't see them. But I promise you that they are always there. You guys have a soul contract together. So we have something called dominant guides or principal guides and subdominant guides. So your dominant guides or principal guides are guides that you decided before coming into life that they would help you through whatever you came here to learn, or whatever purpose you came here to fulfill. Whatever that may be, everybody has a spirit guide. There's not one person on earth that does not have at least one spirit guide. Usually you have more than one, but there are times where you only need one. You have and then you have subdominant guides, who are guides that you kind of invite along in your journey. Multidimensionally, you will invite other guides. You will just come into contact with other beings that want to assist you, and on another level, your higher self will decide that, okay, this guide is good for you right now, and they will help you assist whatever you came here to be doing right now. So those subdominant guides, they won't necessarily be there for your whole life. They will be there for you during specific periods of times in your life. So say you're going through a really difficult time in school growing up. You may have a guide that's specifically for school to help you get through that. So they are helping you. The guides work through your thoughts. So you may think that you're coming up with all of these things on your own, when they're actually your guides feeding you this information and helping you get through specific things. So as I'm talking right now, there are so many different guides around me. You guys can't see them. Maybe you can. But when I was growing up, it was really hard for me to carry out a normal conversation with people, because as I was talking to them, it was like I was having this other conversation in my head with their spirit guides. I didn't know at the time that it was spirit guides. I didn't know it was their higher selves that I was talking to. I just knew that there was another conversation going on in my head, and then there was just my temporal self having this physical conversation with them verbally. It was very confusing. People used to think I was just spacing out and not paying attention to what they were saying, but I was just so unaware that it was spirit guides. I thought I just had a busy mind. I thought that was all that it was. But what it was I was having conversations with these guides. So your principal guides, they will be there for your entire life. Because you guys made a contract before coming in here, they will help you from the beginning to the end. A lot of times, your principal guides are an aspect of you. So they are not separate from you. They are a fractal of your consciousness. They are in and of you, but they are just another projection of you that is projecting into this life. So everybody has them. And the number one thing that I get from people, like I was saying, is, how do I talk to my guides? How come they don't listen to me? How come they're not coming to me? How come I'm not hearing them? They are. And the thing about that is, as I'm talking to you, they're really chatty in my ear right now. So I'm trying to stay focused on what I'm saying as I'm talking to you. But I have to take it one at a time. So what I want to talk about first is, your guides are going to come to you specifically based on your etheric gifts. So everybody has gifts, everybody has spiritual abilities, and they're going to come to you through the easiest vessel. So if you are clairvoyant in nature, you are going to be the ones who are going to physically see your guides in your mind's eye, or physically, outside of your vision. They're going to come to you. They will offer you, mental imagery. They will maybe just show them their actual self to you, whatever self that will not trigger fear, whatever self will just make you feel the most comfortable and most guided. So a lot of times your guides will appear to you in the form of like what you would perceive as an angel with wings, etc. For me personally, I've actually never seen an angel with wings. Um, I see them much differently than that, actually. Um, but they will appear to a lot of people with wings because of how we were brought up. So many of us associate angels with these beings with just big, huge wings, and that they understand that, so they will work with your third dimensional mind construct. So those of you who are clairvoyant will see them. Those of you, okay, and I get this is I'll get it from these people specifically the most. Those of us who are more clairsentient in nature, you have the ability to open up all of your gifts. So you could potentially see them even if you did not come in specifically to develop certain of some of those abilities, like the clairvoyance, for example. The clairsentients perceive energy through the way that through their feelings, through sensations. So your guides will communicate with you. The clairsentients are also the empaths, by the way. So they will communicate to you through your emotions, through physical sensations, um, and they can be translated just the same way as any mental imagery can be translated. The idea is to be able to interpret those feelings and sensations. And you can do it because anytime that you're able to read somebody, anytime you're watching somebody, and you can tell they're up to no good, anytime you look at someone and for the clairsentients I'm talking to specifically, um, anytime you go up to someone and you just know that they're lying, you just can feel it whenever you're like, I could just feel something's off. You are clairsentiently perceiving things, and sometimes you can develop that. So that clairsentience, you can develop it more in the sense that you will be able to interpret those sensations more and more because we're feeling things all the time. I'm clairsentient as well. So whenever I pick up something clairsentiently, I will physically feel things, I will emotionally feel things, and I can interpret them based on just those emotions and those sensations. We are always feeling things. So you can be a medium just based on feeling things. There's also clairaudience. So when I clairaudiently pick up on things, I will hear things. I will hear a ringing in my left ear when it's a certain guide. I will hear voices in my head before I go to bed at night. Um, clairaudience is pretty self-explanatory. It's clear hearing. You're going to hear things. You're going to hear spirits. You're going to hear your guides. And the clairaudience and the clairvoyance are the ones that don't end up asking me these questions as much. But um, it is the claircognizance and the clairsentience that I get these questions from the most because they have a specific purpose that is geared towards trusting yourself. Because a lot of times, those of us who are who are picking up on our guides clairsentiently or claircognizantly, claircognizance is clear knowing. So you just kind of know. You know they're there. You know what they're saying. You know what someone's up to. You know what's going to happen. It's just a knowing. And it's one of the most powerful spiritual abilities. And it's very underrated because a lot of times the claircognizance, they will just know things, but they will not trust themselves. So what happens is they're like trying to develop their clairvoyance. They're trying to open up their third eye. They're trying to ask all these questions, like a lot of you actually who asked me about the being able to see your guides and talk to them, have the claircognizance or the clairsentience. And the reason why, like from universal perspective, the universe is like, well, why do you need to see? You already know. So that's why they're kind of confused. Like, why do you guys even need to see me if you already know this information? So the journey for those of you who are claircognizant and who are clairsentient is to trust yourself. So those of us who are clairsentient as our strongest ability, or claircognizant as our strongest ability, we will be the ones who will kind of scream out for our guides. Like if we're scared or we're feeling something, we're like, oh my God, I'm calling my guides. Where are you guys? I'm calling out to you. This is another thing that I've been getting a lot as well from people, that they're calling out for the guides when they're afraid and they're just screaming out. They're like, where are you guys? Where are you guys? The thing about that is when you're calling out, you're communicating something that's different from what your vibration is communicating. This universe functions by vibration. So vibrationally, you are communicating messages that will reflect via law of attraction. So whatever signals that you are emitting from your vibration trumps anything that you would just verbally say with your mouth. So you you can say things with your mouth, and that will be a powerful tool for you to, um, call your guides or something. But if you're calling them and you're feeling something else, that's when it's like your guides can't reach you. They're there, but they can't reach you because it's like there's this vibrational dissonance. They're not able to reach you vibrationally because um, it's just you're speaking something differently than what your vibration is communicating, if that makes sense. I don't want you guys to get scared when I say they can't reach you. They're always there, and if you're in any danger, they will intervene. And I promise you that you're not in any danger. I mean, you could be, but if you were, they would intervene. I promise you. Um, so, for example, if you're calling out to your guides and you feel like this really scary entity in your room, and you're like, "Oh, I feel really uncomfortable. I think this being is bothering me." You're like, how do I call my guides? I'm calling my guides. You're functioning out of fear. You're functioning out of powerlessness. So that vibration of fear and that vibration of powerlessness is the signal that you're emitting. So when you emit a signal of fear, you will attract that which you are fearful of. So from there, and you're calling from your guides, your vibration is communicating that you can't reach them, but what you have to do is just trust that they're there, because they are there. I promise you, they're always there. And just by trusting that they're there, they will be able to assist you in any way, without exception. You call your guides, and they're there. I have them right behind me, right as I'm speaking with you. So, just by communicating that vibrational message that you want them there, they are going to be there for you. I promise, every time. So, even though we do have the capacity to develop all of our spiritual abilities, the thing about that is we want to develop first our dominant spiritual abilities to the maximum capacity. So, let's say you come in with a dominant spiritual ability of clairsentience. You want to be able to develop that all the way. So, you want to completely milk that gift to the most that you can. So, you want to be able to interpret your clairsentience. You want to be able to understand what you're feeling and make sense of all of that. And when you fully develop that, what's going to happen is, by virtue of law of attraction, in order to continue developing your gifts, like that desire you have to develop more intuition, more extrasensory perception, it's going to have to spill over into another spiritual ability. So once you completely sort of milk out all of that clairsentience, it's going to spill over into, say, clairaudience. So then from there, it's like, okay, I'm going to develop all this clairaudience, and then you have these two things. You have clairsentience and you have clairaudience. So you have these two things, and now once you fully develop your clairaudience, it's going to spill over into clairvoyance and claircognizance. Not specifically in that order. It can go in any order that works for you specifically. So the idea is to just fully develop what you came in here to develop. And by doing so, your other gifts are just going to open up. As long as you have a desire, it will be manifested. So if you desire to increase your extrasensory perception, it's going to continue to increase. Me, I was more clairsentient growing up. I was the most clairsentient. And then, it just started opening up more and more. I would just hear things in my head. I would see them. I always had a little bit of everything, but I would say that I felt things the most. So when I would feel them, I would fully once I fully understood what the clairsentience was and understood how to perceive that, it's like the other gifts just opened up more and more and more. For me, it wasn't so conscious because I was always just very sensitive, and I was always picking up on energies and always perceiving other dimensional things. But everyone has the capacity to just fully develop all of their spiritual abilities. Whether they came in with extremely dormant abilities, you can develop them. If as long as you want to, you can, because we all have access to universal information, and we all have access to source. We are all gods. We are all source. And so when you're really able to develop all of your spiritual abilities to an extent, you become more and more of a clear channel. You become more and more what is called a clear conduit, or just extrasensory. So you may come in with one, and then you can develop more and more and more, and you can become what is called a clear conduit, which is basically the sort of umbrella of all the spiritual abilities. You have the clairvoyance, the claircognizance, the clairsentience, the clairaudience, and you can develop mediumship and telepathy through all of those different spiritual abilities. So it's a really powerful tool. You can continue to clear your channel more and more and more, and then the more clear your channel becomes, the more you're able to perceive these energies and interpret them, and the more psychic, quote unquote, that you become. I'm not a huge fan of the word psychic, but just because of the stigmas attached to that word. But extrasensory is an appropriate word. Multisensory is another acceptable word. So, for example, the clairvoyance, when I'm clairvoyantly seeing something, I usually just see it in my mind's eye. I will just see a scene going on in my head. Sometimes I'll physically see, like I'm seeing there are guides around me right now. That's another function of clairvoyance. Um, Clairaudience, that's what I was talking about at the beginning of the video when I was, just hearing people's guides. I would hear this conversation going on in my head as I would talk to people. So it wasn't just verbally what they were saying physically with their mouth. I was also hearing a conversation happening in my head. And that was the conversation with the guides that was clairaudiently perceiving things. Clairsentience, that's, again, feeling things physically, emotionally, that's interpreted and translated into a certain message. And then there's also the claircognizance, where you just kind of know. It's like, I just know that something is going to happen tomorrow. I just know that I'm going to win the lottery. I just know something's going to happen. That's a really good indication of claircognizance. I just want to also mention that if you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments here. You can join my Facebook group, Divine Creators with Cody, and you can leave questions there as well. I tend to take most of my questions from there, and I'm much more interactive there as well. So you guys can ask me questions there, and I'm probably going to do more formal videos where I'm answering your questions, maybe just specific videos that are geared towards just answering your questions. So right now I'm just going to get centered and do a light language attunement. This one is going to be from Sirius and Arcturus. So they're going to, it's going to be sort of an attunement, and it's going to attune you into your dominant spiritual ability. So it's going to, they're saying that it's going to help you more so develop what you came in here to develop. And, well, they're saying again that they want me to stress again that those of us who are clairsentient and claircognizant, your journey is to trust yourself. So really, really work on trusting yourself, because they don't understand this, but I totally get it. But for them, they don't understand why you would even want to develop clairvoyance, because to them they're saying, well, you want to develop clairvoyance so that you can see what you already know. And it's like that there's so much inherent doubt in that, if that makes sense. It's like you doubt yourself so much, so it's like I just doubt what I know, so I just need to see it in front of my eyes, and then I can be like, okay, this is what I know. So there's a lot of shadow inherent in that. So they want you to, really develop your trust in yourself, and relieve that self-doubt, because a lot of your spiritual purposes, for those of us who are clairsentient, extremely clairsentient and claircognizant, is about trusting yourself. So keep that in mind. So I'm just going to get centered and deliver this transmission. As I say before any transmission, in order to receive these to the maximum capacity, you have to be open and willing to receive it. So if you are, through your own free will, just drop into your heart space and communicate the message that you are open and willing to receive this transmission. Again, this is from Sirius and Arcturus. It's going to help activate your spiritual ability. So you're going to feel a lot of it in your crown and your third eye. It's going to work its way down your chakra system. So I'm just going to get centered and begin when I'm ready. Iri ketataka iri dosa antushi iri diota tataka iri di bumsakareta iri so ushum usuruto biri titi atata iri teo tatata iri nisa kasa iri ota uri buzo iri sakata iri tosako uri titi atata iri nyoza iri di bumsarata ki ishinja tataka iri titi tatata iri tata muzo ishire tiki osa araha imo ini hisi ataka iri o hino saka ini onana iso ora tatu iridium shishi the otaka yomzi ishishui ni mamma na mamma na miena ma ingukire da yona ma ini mana yona mamma na mana da isi insena ta kiro to se ini she sera ta inyo ora in sakatara iridio ora isi ne sera ta ini yona ma sakere ti hira ta sa ini usa tara to umbo pore di mo pore ta hi isi jira ta ai so jira ta muso iritikia arvio no so yena masakati ishirta koso ini motakahi. Haumi inyo, hari inyo. Tana idio tada sini una, ani una neno one, ini una na ini una ta ini ota, sane ayuni osi, simo ila ana ailen, ini ula na asini masakali, ili ana ala ina ula he, li ilo ala he, hina ula ana nahi, himi ora ta ili ini ila na nahi, hiori ori atakai, himoa. Hini iyo mamanahe, hini isa sana ini monaha, hiri ilana na umona inaha, sahuya sana ona imina taka iri, sarata ini osakara, so jina to yamana na manehini. Nana ino utataraki ishumzi inaha u hoyamon, nama onihi hiotaka ini ise. Just taking a second to absorb these codes and frequencies through your breath. As you exhale, just allow these codes and frequencies to shower your energy body and activate any dormant DNA. This is an activation and an attunement into your spiritual abilities, grounding you into your spiritual abilities. So they're wanting me to talk about grounding, but this video is going to be really long, so I think I'm going to just film that in another video to follow. They're talking about grounding and how we need to ground in order to sort of bring down and keep and sort of develop these etheric abilities here in the third dimension, because it's very otherworldly, it's very high vibrational information, and by grounding, we are grounding those frequencies, keeping it down as a part of our human selves. So thank you guys so much for watching this. It's always my pleasure to deliver these light language transmissions and to answer your questions. I'm sorry that I didn't wear the headphones with the microphone for this light language transmission. I know sometimes the volume can be a little bit low, so I apologize for that. But thank you guys so much for the opportunity to deliver this transmission for you guys. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. I truly am so grateful for all of you guys. So thank you. Peace and love.